Hey my lovely YouTubers, it's me, Morgan Tracy J, coming today with a new quick little word for you guys. And today's video is the truth about shacking up before marriage. Now, to be honest, I've done it. Even when I was a Christian, even when I was a young woman of God, I decided to shack up before marriage. If you don't know what shacking up before marriage is, it just means living with your significant other before you're their wife or before you two are married, okay? And so what I want to give you my perspective of it, also the God's perspective of it. But even knowing God's perspective of it at the time, knowing it was not right, knowing I was supposed to be married first, I decided to do it my way and go ahead and live with this person. Now, not saying that the person was a bad guy, anything like that, but what I'm saying is I knew blatantly that God was saying, this is not right. Even though all the doors might be opening, even though you might be rushing it and all that, this is not honestly right. But to be honest, to me, I didn't really care about the word of God so much. I cared more about what I wanted. And what I truly wanted was to be this man's wife. And so I thought getting the apartment with the man was going to lead me a little closer to marriage. You know, it was like get an apartment for 6 months to a year and then we're going to get married. You know, it's like, who cares? I'm going to marry him anyway, so why not get the apartment? Well, to be honest, actually getting the apartment or in moving in with the man pushed me even further from marriage, okay? And why I want to say that is because I was never supposed to step out of that will of God like that anyways. I was never supposed to get an apartment with a man that was not my husband. I was never supposed to do that. So when I decided to do that, it kind of took me on a detour. It's almost like I was walking this path, but I kind of hit a detour. And I know I did now because I see once I came out of that, the doors that opened up and the things that is happening in my life now as a young woman. And so what I want to tell you guys is shacking up before marriage. I know everyone says that you should try it and it's really cool and it's fun. You get to wake up to that person, go to sleep to that person. You get to have bills with that person. You get to cook for that person. You get to do all that. But can I tell you something? If you and that person love each other so much, why not just get married? Why not just say, you know what? I really want to live with you and I really want to get this apartment with you. But I want to be married with you first. You know, why are we so quick to jump into our own will versus stop and stand and to be honest with the thing we truly want? And if I would have stood my ground and said, I really only want to be married to you. I don't care about this apartment. I want to marry you. That's the reason I'm getting this apartment. If I would have put that requirement first, then I probably wouldn't have been married in the first place. I probably would have never married anyways. But it would have showed me it would have kept a lot of heartache and it would have kept a long journey of doing a detour. And what I want to tell you is people are going to say that it looks okay or that it's okay to get with your significant other because you're going to marry them or live with them. They're going to say that, but can I be honest? No, don't do it. Because it's going to put you in a position to where now the things that you were supposed to enjoy with them in marriage, you're enjoying it with them in just a regular relationship. And I remember even being in my relationship after about a year of that living together, I remember thinking, this can't be it. I don't want to marry this. Like, I don't want to get married to this person anymore. Like, there's got to be more to this. It was almost like I was burnt out of it. Like, there was no fire for him. There was no fire for life. There was no fire for my passion. It was like I was so burnt out, but it was because I was no longer that single individual who was working on me. I was working on this, okay? And it was ahead of my time. God was saying, come to me and let me equip you and get you prepared. But I decided to do it my own way and go get my own apartment and live with this guy and do it my way. And in that process, I was without a lot. I was without peace. And that's something I will say is if you are someone in faith and you blatantly go against God, something you will not have is peace. And I did not have peace. Even when I thought I had peace, I didn't. Because when I got it now, I realized I went through about a year of no peace at all inside. I went through a year of like depression, of some crazy battles. And what I did know is that me living in that bondage, me living in that my own purpose sin, my own purpose bondage, it kept certain doors closed from me. There were certain things that I could truly not act in within ministry because of that sin. There were certain things he could truly not act in ministry because of that sin. It was keeping us in a certain level of bondage. And I remember the day that I was moving out of the apartment, and I remember saying this. I said, now there are certain doors that are going to be able to open in our lives. You know, I remember saying that, and I remember I was hurting and I was crying and all this stuff, but I remember saying that. And I remember I thought, why did I say that? But because deep down inside, I knew the whole time that God was telling me to never do that. Deep down inside, the whole time I knew this is wrong here. Deep down inside, I knew this is way before my time. I wasn't supposed to go through this, you know. And also to think about, if you break up with that person, which I did, when you break up with, it's already hard enough to break up with a person when you're not even dating them or living in the same house. I mean, but when you have the same apartment, when you have a joint account, when you built a low key apartment at home with that person and built all these memories, when you cut that thing off, like, that's like 20,000 times harder than just having to give them back their little sweaters or something. Like, oh, you gave me sweater. Like, it's still hard, but versus when you live with that person and you have to eventually start to go to sleep alone now. And some people still have to live in the same house that they've made all those memories with. So that's even harder, okay? And so what I want to tell you is, if I could give you any insight on shacking up before marriage, I would say do not do it. And why you should not do it is because you should not go against the Word of God. You shouldn't blankly go against it. Because once you're in there, and maybe it feels good at first, and you have your good moments, but something in your heart is going to keep nudging you and telling you, get away from here. This is not right. You rushed this. You pushed this too soon. This isn't right. Get away. It's going to tell you that. Like, I don't know. It told me that all the freaking time, and I wouldn't want to listen to it. And then when I did move out, and when we did break up, it was just like, I knew it was coming the whole time, you know? And so what I want to tell you guys is, shacking up before marriage, don't do it. If you love that person that much, if they love you that much, if you truly desire to, you know, go through that process with them of getting a home, then you should truly desire to marry that person. Don't skip like, I think we skip that. We think date, get an apartment, or date, live, get married. No. It's date, get married, and then live together. Let's reverse them steps right there. If you truly feel like you want to get an apartment with that person, first, marry that person. Talk to them about marriage. How do they feel about marrying you? Are they scary about marriage? Are they not? What is it? You don't talk about these things, because honestly, it's going to help you in the long run, okay? Also, guys, I hope you understand that I'm not just like beating down anybody who's ever lived with someone. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if God is going to call you to another level in Him, if He's going to call you to a ministry, He's going to call you to something, He's going to call you to a certain level of obedience. And I realized that I was being completely disobedient, and the calling that He gave in me and the passion He put in me could not truly be manifested in my disobedience. And so be sure, guys, to pray about these situations and learn from my mistakes, okay? So love you guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell down below, and I love you. Bye.